Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
What is a fiduciary?
Fiduciary.
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 Say it with me.
So, what the heck is a fiduciary? Well, let's find out.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and four-time author, Tony Walker.
The word of the day, drumroll please, fiduciary. Okay, according to Webster's, in its simplest definition, a fiduciary is someone who is held or founded in trust and confidence. Or as I like to say, someone that you would confidently leave in charge to take care of your stuff and handle your stuff as if it were their own stuff. And nowhere is the word fiduciary so important than when it comes to stuff like the money you have saved for retirement. Yes, the most important financial decision you're ever going to make, who to turn over your life savings, or your stuff, in retirement. And this is the very core question we're going to ask you. Will the person you trust with your money act in your best interest or not? Well, one way to find out before taking the fateful financial plunge into retirement is to at least confirm that the advisor in whom you're about to trust is a fiduciary, someone who is obligated by law to work in your best interest. So, what is a fiduciary, and are there some examples of what to look for in an advisor before investing your money with them? Well, let's find out. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest, longtime fiduciary and retirement planning specialist, Tony Walker. And today we're going to share with you the importance of working with not only a fiduciary, but also why having an experienced and well-trained retirement planning firm in your corner is the key to being worry-free in retirement. But before we get started, let me introduce to you in the Worry-Free Studios this beautiful Election Day morning on November 8th, 2022, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Did you get a chance to vote?
I did. I went and early voted on Saturday.
That early voting thing is pretty awesome.
I think it's awesome. I've done it probably the past 4 years, whenever there's election, I've gone and voted early, and I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Well, and I'm not trying to get on other states. I don't understand how they do their election process, but kudos. And anyway, I voted in Bowling Green, but kudos to the election process. I'm sure it's the same in Louisville, Kentucky, or Lexington, wherever you're listening to this show. But in Bowling Green, Kentucky, I went over to Fillmore Park. I walked in. They scanned my ID. Did they draw blood when you did yours?
No, they took a retina scan, but they didn't draw blood.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so, they checked me out, make sure I had my address, went over, voted, scanned, blah, blah, blah. It took all of like 3 minutes. I mean, the people were so good there, professional. I just don't understand again, I don't want to get into all this, but why in the world can you not vote that easy and get the votes counted? I won't get into that. But again, kudos to the folks who set up our voting institutions and how we do it in Kentucky. A very smooth process. I'm very grateful for that. Okay, Aaron, this term fiduciary, you hear me throw it around. In your normal world, now forget that you're around a financial advisor full-time producing this show every week. Have you ever really heard this term fiduciary? Be honest.
Not outside the financial realm, really. Yeah. I mean, because I work here and because I've heard it thrown around so many times, yes, I have a pretty good understanding of what the word means. And there have even been times where I've driven in the car, by myself. Your mind can just go, just all kinds of places when you're in the car by yourself. You can only listen to so much radio or whatever. And I'll think about random things like fiduciary. Like, can that word apply to other parts of your life. And I think, well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it really does have to do with just having someone else's best interest at heart.
Well, let me interrupt you. Yeah, the definition from Webster's, that's a really good point you're making. You got kids, right?
Right, exactly.
You're kind of you and Jessica are fiduciaries because the definition is someone who is held or founded in trust and confidence. Let's hope that you have trust and confidence in your ability to parent, right?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that back to Election Day or back to going and voting early. I think I was telling you this the other day. Jess and I went and voted early on Saturday morning, and we had the kids with us, so we took the kids. And it is so funny how people just look and ooh and ah and, oh, you're doing the right thing. You're bringing them voting. And it's like, well, yeah, but you don't understand. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't really call a babysitter to come watch the kids while we came and voted. And plus, we told the kids, all right, we'll go get donuts after this, okay?
Yeah, we weren't necessarily trying to indoctrinate them.
Right, we weren't trying to be like, come here, son, let me show you how this works. It's like, we'll go get donuts after this, okay, kids? Hey, okay.
So here we are, folks. We're trying to understand this word fiduciary. Many of you, as I always say, there's 10,000 people turning 65 each and every day. We specialize in working with that age group. We've been doing retirement planning longer than most people even knew what the words meant. But here's the problem. Many of you've got to understand something, folks. There's a lot of money and then there are hills. The financial world knows that you're getting ready to retire. They're well aware of the fact that you've probably done a good job saving for retirement, and they are licking their chops waiting for you to turn over those 401ks or all that money languishing in the bank, and even gets down to inheritances. I mean, Aaron, we're seeing more and more people starting to get this influx of money coming in where parents, this generation that's dying off, I hate to say it this way, it's really the first generation that's had large sums of money. Most people died off. The previous generation had pensions and stuff. They didn't leave a lot of money. Might have some CDs, but folks, many of you are starting to come into a lot of money. And I'm telling you, the financial world is well aware of this. We're going to read a little bit of an article here in a minute, but you've got to understand something. First and foremost, this is strange. I know you're going to probably not even believe this, but people can actually handle your money, listen, without being a fiduciary. In other words, there are people that will handle your money, your life savings, all right? And they are not required by law to work in your best interest. So let that sink in just a second. You've worked 30, 40 years, however long you've worked. You've saved all your life. Somebody waltzes in, either on the radio, internet, even, you're listening to a radio show. We're marketing our services. I'm not going to make any bones about that, but let's think about this. They're offering to buy you a $50 steak dinner, whatever the case may be, folks. The reason all of us are going to these great lengths to talk to you about your money is because there's a lot of money to be made in this financial world. In fact, it's estimated that there's close to $30 trillion, let me repeat that, $30 trillion tied up, locked up, stored away in 401k plans, 403b plans, thrift savings accounts, lump sum pensions. And the financial world knows that you've got to start moving that money over somewhere. Most people just don't leave their 401k with a custodian after they retire. So when I return, we are going to make sure you understand what a fiduciary is, why before you ever invest large sums of money with anybody, you better make sure that person is a fiduciary, and how we at Tony Walker Financial, through our retirement planning process, are helping so many savers be so comfortable in working with us. So you're listening to The Worry for Retirement, myself and America's favorite financial sidekick. We'll be right back.
Tony, I keep hearing the term fiduciary, and it's a relatively new term, at least to me. Can you explain what that is and why it's so important for folks to work with a fiduciary?
Well, actually, you're right. Fiduciary is a term you don't hear a lot. In the financial world, though, it's getting very, very popular because there are so many people giving financial advice now. So a fiduciary, by definition, simply means that someone is going to be working in your best interest, not theirs. The problem in the financial world, in order to transact business, to manage your money, for instance, you don't have to be a fiduciary by law. In other words, it's kind of odd, but you don't have to actually be held to a higher standard of working in someone's best interest. So we at Tony Walker Financial have volunteered, we have elected to become fiduciaries. We have the proper licensing, Besides myself, there are 3 other fiduciaries, and our job is to make sure that we are working in the client's best interest.
So give me an example of what a first meeting might look like. If I'm a new client, I come into your office and I meet with you or one of your associates.
Yeah, a good way to tell if you're working with a fiduciary is how quickly are they moving you through the process. So for instance, at Tony Walker Financial, that first meeting, Diane, when we sit down, we're basically going to go over all of your information. That's all we do at the first meeting. We're collecting data, we're making sure we understand what it is you want and what you're trying to achieve. Then in almost all cases, we have a second appointment. Now during the second appointment is where we provide all of our findings, all of our assessment, and that information is confidential to you and personalized to you. Now here's the real thing that really surprises people. We generally don't ask people to buy anything after that second meeting unless they're ready to move forward. We encourage them to take their information home, study it, make sure they understand how we're paid, how much money we're going to make on the transaction if they move money over, and just make sure they have a real comfort level. So yes, in conclusion, Diane, you want to make sure you're working with a fiduciary. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement Fiduciary and Retirement Planning Specialist, Tony Walker here. Incidentally, folks, a lot of people are, at this point, as we record this radio show on November 8th, 2022, very, very nervous about a lot of things. Interest rates going up, the amount of debt we've stockpiled in this country, future tax rates going up. Not sure what's going to happen with the election and who's going to control Congress, and it goes on and on and on. And so a lot of people are just looking for someone out there that has some common sense, who's been around the block a few times, who's consulted with literally thousands and thousands of savers, and that would be us at Tony Walker Financial. So let me encourage you, in case you got to run and you can't listen to the rest of this show, if you would like to talk to me, the owner of the company, just over the phone, it's called the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. All you got to do, and by the way, Aaron, you've heard this. I don't know what's going on with the toll-free number system, but let me give 2 numbers, folks, just in case our toll-free number's been acting up lately. We have 2 numbers you can call us if you want to set up a free 10-minute phone call with myself just to discuss your situation. You can try 877-499-9255. That's the toll-free number. And for some reason, if that doesn't flip over or roll over, you can call directly to our Bowling Green office to set up this call at 270-843-9380. Okay, let's get back on topic here. In case you're just now joining us, we're trying to figure out why everybody and his brother all of a sudden is pretending to know something about retirement planning. While we've done this over 20 years, have created our own proprietary software, I've personally met in person with over 15,000 savers. I've got 3 salaried fiduciaries on staff, as well as a large staff of an additional 11 folks that can help service what we sell. I got to point to the real issue here. Why are so many people after your money? Because they know, as we said earlier, that 10,000 people are turning 65 each and every day. And you can bet your sweet bippy that when these people turn, what is it, Aaron?
What'd you just say?
I just said bet your sweet bippy.
Did you hit your head on the way in here? You made that up, didn't you?
What?
I have never heard that before in my life.
You have never heard.
Hold on, say it again. Bet your what?
Yeah, bet your sweet bippy.
What is a bippy?
Okay, let's do this. I tell you what.
What's a bippy and why does it have to be sweet? Does it taste bad? What?
Derek's over there researching something. Derek, real quick. Okay, I want you to Google Rowan and Martin's Laugh In. And go ahead. He's finding it right now. Play that. I'm not the one that came up with this. Go ahead and let that roll.
You bet your sweet bippy I would.
I've been meaning to ask you, what's a bippy?
That's a baby bip.
Okay, so before Aaron interrupted me, as I was saying, you can bet your sweet bippy that if you're getting ready to turn 65, approaching retirement, already retired, that the financial world knows that you have money. And what they're doing, because they know this large sum of money, trillions of dollars, is going to have to be transferred over into these individual IRAs to be managed by somebody. Guess what they've done? That's right. They've written articles like this one that came out on, let's see, this was November 2nd from wealthmanagement.com. Now, again, this magazine is written towards advisors. Are you with me, Aaron? This is not an article for you to read. It's for other advisors to read. But listen to the headline. 4 reasons to consider adding, not saying becoming, adding retirement plan servicing to your practice. So let's think about that a minute. So you could, first of all, we've talked about being a fiduciary. So here's your choices, folks. You could choose to work with a fiduciary. Someone is highly regulated by the government, someone who has to work in your best interest, which we are fiduciaries at Tony Walker Financial. So I got to ask you, if given a choice between working with an advisor who's not a fiduciary, not required to work in your best interest, but working with a fiduciary it is, Aaron, which would you choose if you had to choose one over the other?
I would choose the fiduciary.
Okay, thank you very much. Good answer, Aaron. Well, now they're saying, this article, hey, Mr. Advisor, why don't you consider getting into the retirement planning business and adding that to your practice, not specializing in it. Okay, we've specialized in retirement planning for over 20 years, Aaron. So I'll come back to you, but here's the 4 reasons. This article, whoever wrote it is Mr. Tankersley. I don't know who that gentleman is, but anyway, here's the 4 reasons you as an advisor should get into this money. Number 1, I'm summarizing what the article says. Number 1, there's plenty of opportunity in the market. What does that mean to you, Aaron?
There's a lot of gold in their heels.
Yeah, I love that opportunity. No, what they should have just said, you can make a ton of money. Okay, as an advisor. Number 2, I like this. Continuous contributions. Now, I looked at this closely and I thought, wonder what they mean by this. Well, I'll tell you what I think they mean. And we have, through our Charles Schwab platform, we have the ability to charge fees for money we manage. We charge 0.8%. We'll get to that in a minute. And they're recurring fees, Aaron. So whether you do better or whether you do worse, we do get our 0.8%. So let's say you have $100,000 with us. We invest it with Charles Schwab. We're going to get $800 a year regardless.
Okay.
That's called a recurring or continuous contribution. So what they're saying to advisors is, hey, man, you're missing out on this. If you handle these people's money, you'll get recurring fees whether they do better or not. Okay. Maybe not in the best interest of the client just to do it for that reason. Number 3, the other reason they're telling advisors to, quote, add retirement planning servicing to their practice, you likely already have much of the knowledge in the network. And I'm thinking, no, wait a minute.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so they're going to advisors who aren't doing retirement planning, but they're telling me how to do retirement planning because, according to them, you likely have much knowledge in the network to see all these people.
So people see financial advisor and they just think, oh, well, they know everything about
That's
money.
Right. Isn't that crazy? That'd be like a doctor who specializes in internal medicine all of a sudden, well, just start doing dermatology. You know, you can pick it up real quick. This is crazy, folks. Number 4, here's the final reason that advisors, now again, this article is written to advisors, should consider retirement plan servicing, adding it to their practice. You may gain access to additional business opportunities. Oh, so here now we're getting to the rubber meets the road. So Aaron, if I come to you and let's say I'm a plumber and I don't even know much about air conditioning or whatever, but I say, hey, Aaron, I can service that air conditioning for you for $49. And you're like, hey, that's a great deal. And then I get in there, I start rummaging around your house and I say, hey, Mr. Orinder, your commode's out here. That probably needs to be replaced. And oh, look over here, your sink's dripping.
Right.
So, okay, so folks, you got to be really careful here. So here's my thoughts on this. Number 1, yep, you got to make sure the person's a fiduciary. But number 2, you want to ask them their experience in retirement planning. Ask them how many clients they have, how many game plans they've worked on. Folks, how much staff they have to service these plans. Are the staff knowledgeable in retirement? We're going to get to my favorite son-in-law in just a second, but what is their role as a fiduciary and a retirement planning specialist? In fact, I tell you what, Aaron, I just noticed the clock there. We're running a little low on time. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go to my favorite son-in-law, Mr. Trey Juergens, who's also a salaried fiduciary here at Tony Walker Financial. He also helps with the retirement planning and onboarding and moving over money to our process from 401ks. But more importantly, he's also our Chief Compliance Officer. And we're going to go to Trey to find out just how much work and time and money is spent at Tony Walker Financial to make sure that we are working in your best interest. Well, good morning, Trey.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, Trey. So first of all, just describe your role as the Chief Compliance Officer of Tony Walker Financial.
Yeah, so Chief Compliance Officer, my biggest job is just to make sure we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing for the SEC, who regulates us as an independent advisor.
And so what requirements are we as fiduciaries under that, let's say, other firms or advisors who choose not to be fiduciaries?
Right. So we have to file all the appropriate paperwork to be regulated under the SEC. That's our ADV documents, all of the annual filings. We're subject at any point to an SEC examination. We actually just had our initial examination, which went very well. We just have to keep on top of things and have the proof that we're doing so.
and speak to the volumes of time and money and effort that we have to put in as a firm to remain compliant, and why, of course, I would think anybody would be glad that we're taking those efforts in terms of our commitment to be fiduciaries and looking out for their best interest.
Right. Whether it's my time, your time, our staff's time, we have consultants that we have hired on to assist us in this. It's a very important process. We also have had attorneys that have been involved. So there's a lot of expense that goes in to staying on top of all these things.
And it's not just that. We spend a lot of time and money and effort making sure clients and prospective clients are educated about their options. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing even with the production studio and making sure that all of our information is out there for people to view.
We have a lot of educational resources on our website or YouTube channel. We have our blog on the website, the Worry-Free Retirement blog, as well as some new tips from our staff, the Tips to Retire Worry-Free. It's a lot of great resources for those looking to learn more about Tony Walker Financial.
And Trey, we appreciate all you're doing, also, from not only just advising clients, but your Chief Compliance Officer role and assisting the production company in getting on those tips and all the things that you do. So thank you so much, and you make it a good one.
Yeah, happy to do it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Aaron, speaking of all the stuff, first of all, I want to compliment you, Derek Hudson, and Mary Beth Combs. Folks, we have our own production company called Worry-Free Productions, and these three have been working diligently on something we called, is it Retirement Tips to Worry-Free? It's a brand new program.
We went through a ton of names. We went through 2-minute tips, tips for retirement, whatever. And I think Derek finally came up with tips to retire worry-free.
Is that it, Derek? Nod your head. Great. Okay, perfect. These are awesome, folks. So what we're doing is, because I got this epiphany. I thought, wait a minute. The face and name on the Tony Walker Financial is me, but people don't realize how much work goes in behind the scenes, and this great staff that I've been blessed with, and this staff that has become so experienced in servicing retirement accounts. See, that's what you've got to think about, folks. If you move your money over to somebody, even if they have a staff, then you got to say, well, wait a minute, is the staff even experienced in retirement planning? Which ours are. So what we're going to do, we're recording these as we speak. We're going to post them on the website, put them, Mary Beth's putting them on the YouTube channel. But these retirement tips are coming from our staff. So I think we got one loaded up, don't we? Is this one JJ that we got loaded up?
Yeah, this is JJ. This is Jennifer down in the Bowling Green office.
Okay, let her roll.
My name is Jennifer Jaggers, and my job at Tony Walker Financial is to ensure that the annuities our clients purchase are organized and in good order for the binders they receive at their delivery appointment. These binders are made easy to review, not only for the clients, but for their loved ones as well, when and if that time should arise. I come from a banking background and have been with Tony Walker Financial for 3 years now. And I can tell you that as a fiduciary, Tony works hard to make sure that any annuity purchased is a good fit for that particular person and their unique circumstances. As he always says, there is no one size fits all. In fact, we work with approximately 6 to 8 different companies, which offer around 20 different types of annuities. With that being said, my advice to anyone who is shopping for an annuity is to not rush into buying and be sure to get a second opinion from Tony Walker Financial before placing your hard-earned money into just any annuity.
Thanks, JJ. Hey, Tony, I know we don't have that much time left, but you really wanted to get to this TNT. So do you mind if I read it real quick for you?
Oh, no, actually, thank you for reminding me. Let her rip.
No problem. Tony, I'm really feeling the effects of inflation on my retirement income, and here you talk about your low fees offered by your Charles Schwab process versus the higher fees other money managers charge. What effect can fee savings through Tony Walker Financial have to combat inflation?
Oh, and this is an awesome question because, again, as we record the show in November of 2022, inflation is on the mind of everyone. Okay. And by the way, I heard some news reporters say that inflation was something that was educated, or I thought, how long have we talked about inflation on this show? The stealth tax? I mean, that's years. I mean, inflation's nothing new, folks. That's part of the economics. The problem is inflation is very high now. So a lot of people are trying to figure out the magical investments to invest for inflation. And what I say is, well, you might find some inflation protected investments, maybe, but what you have to do is examine costs. in economics, if you can cut your costs, okay, and I'm going to show you this, I'm going to prove it to you, you can beat inflation. So let's use the example. There was the Tony in the Trenches question. Let's say you have $500,000. Let's say it's in a 401k or whatever, IRA, it doesn't matter, $500,000 in the bank or with a broker, I don't care. And you're thinking about putting it with a money manager, and let's say the money manager's fees are 1.5%, plus, after examining what the money manager is suggesting, all of the other expense ratios of the mutual funds, etc., are another what we call basis points of 50. So that brings their total fees every year to 2%. They're going to charge 2% per year. You with me so far, Aaron? Is this making sense?
You. Yep.
Okay. In comes Tony Walker Financial with our Schwab platform. We charge 0.8%. Charles Schwab, basically with the funds we try to pick out, we use a lot of low-cost ETFs, about 10 basis points. So our fee plus whatever Schwab charges total is about 0.9%. But you know what, Aaron, what I found over the years, you share those percentages, the average saver, they don't know what that really means in the way of fee savings. Could you calculate in your head real quick how much that's going to save you?
I couldn't calculate all the details, but the first thing I think of is, 0.9% is better than 2%.
But it's over half of savings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had Heather Hughes, fellow fiduciary in our Bowling Green office, run these numbers, and I'm going to walk through them really slow because this is really important, and I'm going to show you how you beat inflation. Okay. So if this person with the other guys, we'll call the other money managers, and let's just say on average over the next 20 years, each of our portfolios, theirs and ours, average 5%. This is just hypothetical. But they have to charge 2% per year. That means in 20 years, that $500,000 would have grown to about $885,000. Not bad, is it?
Okay.
But that doesn't tell you anything about the effects of their fees, what they took out of the account. Doesn't tell you anything.
No.
Okay, so I'll show you. Here we go. So now, what if you took that same $500,000, you invested that through our Charles Schwab platform with Tony Walker Financial with our total fees at 0.9%, all right? Same thing over the next 20 years, just like the other guys. We just imagine we let the money sit there and grow. Let's say we averaged 5%, so everything's equal, right?
Okay.
Nothing's different. Just the effect of those fees, the value in your account with Tony Walker Financial at the end of 20 years, let me repeat, the other guys would have been about $885,000. With us, you would have over $1.1 million. Aaron's speechless, folks.
That's
He's
more
nodding,
than
and that's all he's doing.
800,000. I like that number. Yeah.
Well, let's look at the savings. So the savings, now this is only because of the fee savings, folks. Because you have to understand with opportunity cost simply says this. If you're going to pay all these fees to all these advisors or whoever out there, that means not only do you lose the dollar you spent on the fees, but you lost the interest on the dollar you lost because they took the money in the way of high fees. So that means that this cost you over $220,000. So it means if you had been with us under the same parameters, you would have $220,000 more, which, Aaron, you could use to spend and enjoy, which is your conduit to fight inflation. Is this making sense?
Yes.
So, folks, some of you are running around chasing returns and falling for all kinds of get-rich-quick schemes. Many of you are being enticed with large bonuses, and you don't even know what the heck you're buying with some of these contracts. You're working with people that aren't fiduciaries. You're scared. I get it. Let me just ask you to do this. Just slow down a minute. Do this before you invest any other money anywhere. Get a second opinion from us. My name is Tony Walker. And folks, for over 38 years, I've been helping savers worry less about money. We are fiduciaries. I've been trained in the art of retirement planning. We have worked on over 5,000 game plans. I've got a full-time staff, salaried fiduciaries. We want to help you worry less about money. So to find out more about our firm and to talk to me in person, why don't you do this? Why don't you log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that. Let's get started. Let's have at least a 10-minute phone call just to find out what's going on and if I can help. And if you like, let me give you two numbers you can call directly to our offices, 877-499-9255. If for some reason that number is not rolling over properly, just give us a call at 270-843-9380. 270-843-9380. Well, that's all the time we have today, and I've certainly enjoyed being with you today. But you remember, between now and next week, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.